Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Starting with the submission of the Ice Age, creating the snow country train, the sun is completely extinguished. The Ice Age is coming. 1 year later, the earth will be completely frozen and humanity will be destroyed. Qingmo walked through the double door and looked at everything in front of him, feeling powerless, but at this moment, the divine level chooses to activate. Option 1. Walk alone on the Great Road. Reward special physique, get a dungeon shelter, and live alone. Option 2. Walking with the country. Reward for intellectual development, design drawings for glacier architecture, and national resistance. Qingmo didn't hesitate to choose 2. What he wants is not just one person's livelihood, but the integrity of the entire Kyushu country. Build an ice and snow giant city to resist the cold. Build a snow country train to connect Kyushu. Build tens of thousands of nuclear energy engines to drive the earth. When the Ice Age approaches and the sun completely extinguishes, the world falls into darkness, hunger, cold, despair, and the East always standing firm. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The sun's rapid aging and the Ice Age approaches. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The sun is rapidly aging, and the Ice Age is approaching. The sun is about to go out. The Ice Age is coming. Human beings cannot survive. Crunching. Stepping on ice and snow. A piercing sound was emitted. Ho-hot. A piercing cold wind blows. Qingmo tightened her tight-fitting clothes. A piercing chill made his body tremble uncontrollably. He looked around and found a dead silence, darkness, and no vitality. This is a dark, dead world. Pa. Qingmo turned on the lighting equipment, and then. His heart stirred up a storm. Because in front of me, it's a city completely frozen, and behind the city the whole world is frozen in. This is the Ice Age. Qingmo exclaimed in surprise. Not long ago, he obtained a double door. And it was learned that, the double door is a passage to the Blue Star 50 years later. After some preparation, Qingmo activated the portal and stepped into the Blue Star 50 years later. He originally thought, 50 years from now, Blue Star will be a technologically advanced world. However, but now he realizes everything is clearly different from what he thinks. Qingmo suppressed his shock and looked around, realizing that he was now in a world of ice and snow. It's a street. Everything on the street has been frozen. Everywhere we can see humans frozen into ice sculptures, buildings, and everything. This is really. Is it a blue star in 50 years' time? What exactly did Blue Star experience? The end of the world. Ice Age. Have all humans become extinct? Everything around him made Qingmo's heart tremble. Just as Qingmo was horrified, in his mind, suddenly a strange electronic sound rang out. Moreover, countless images also appeared in my mind, like replays, urgent news. On March 1, 2022, at 10:50 a.m. Kyushu time, the Earth's abnormal movement occurred along the eastern coast of Kyushu, and a large earthquake occurred underwater, triggering a tsunami. In May 2022, the sun began to rapidly expand and age, and its light began to dim. Kyushu's top meteorologist Chen Han predicted through Kyushu's 9 chapters quantum computer calculation that in 1 year, the sun will completely extinguish and no longer shine. The Ice Age is likely to come. Top meteorological experts from countries such as the Free Kingdom and the Kingdom of England have also made predictions similar to those of academician Chen Han, causing panic throughout the country. The sun is the greatest source of energy for all things. When the sun extinguishes, expands, and ages, the world will usher in an Ice Age, and humanity may be completely destroyed. Countries are making every effort to prepare for the extinction of the sun and the Ice Age. The Kyushu State Council announced that Kyushu State will spare no effort to increase investment in controllable nuclear fusion, Fushi Plan, and strive to ignite the Kyushu State Controllable Nuclear Fusion Divine Fire after the sun goes out, creating a person in the sun. Blue Star countries are actively seeking cooperation from various countries to strive for cooperation in dealing with the disaster after the sun goes out. On June 10, 2022 at 9:03 a.m., the Ice Age descended, freezing the world. On June 11 at 9:43 a.m., the Earth's magnetic field began to be severely affected, and the Blue Star communication system was severely affected. Communications in various regions were severely paralyzed and could not be repaired. The surface temperature of Blue Star began to drop sharply, and after an hour, the surface temperature had dropped to -80°C and was continuously decreasing. After the advent of the Ice Age, the Earth's magnetic field was severely affected, triggering a series of extreme natural disasters in a chain reaction. The Blue Star continental plate began to fluctuate, and volcanoes erupted in various regions. The Great Volcano of Samurai Kingdom erupted, completely sinking the 4 major islands into the icy sea. Lucia is frozen for thousands of miles, and millions of Lucian people are completely frozen to death. The cold wave swept through the free country, and the plan to build the underground fortress for the free country failed. The cold wave poured into the underground fortress, and the underground fortress had become an ice and snow world. The strategic resources of the free country could no longer support it, and it had entered the countdown to destruction. The Fushi plan of Kyushu Kingdom failed, unable to ignite the sun in divine fire. In 2033, 10 years after the sun went out, with the death of the last Kyushu national and also the last Blue Star human, Blue Star humans were completely destroyed. On March 12, 2033, the Blue Star human civilization came to an end. A series of sounds and images echoed in Qingmo's mind. The scene of humanity falling into a terrifying disaster after the sun went out, like a movie, has now been in his mind. Listen to the sounds in your mind and look at the images in your mind. Qingmo was completely stunned, with a look of shock in his eyes and a chill in his heart. The Ice Age. The Blue Star human civilization of this world has been extinct for 40 years. How could this be so sudden? By the way, today happens to be February 23, 2022, which means there is still about a week left before the Blue Star begins to show anomalies, and a major earthquake or tsunami will still occur. At the thought of this, Qingmerton felt a cold sweat and a shiver in his heart. The end of the world is coming, and he can't run away either. Qingmo couldn't accept this result. Just as Qingmo was shocked, a voice suddenly rang out in his mind again. Ding dong. The divine level selection system has been successfully launched. Option 1. Traveling alone on the main road, the host can grasp the information of the end of the Ice Age on their own, reward the host with enhanced cold resistance, and can withstand -100°C without protection. Option 2. Turn over the Ice Age to the country and recognize the master through 2 doors. Bind with the country, mobilize the whole nation's strength, and jointly respond to the great disaster that will befall the Ice Age. Reward the host with divine-level scientists' template attributes and various technologies to resist the Ice Age. Please host quickly make a choice. Chapter 2. I will turn the Ice Age over to the country. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. I will turn the Ice Age over to the country. The sound that comes to mind. Let Qingmo's heart shake uncontrollably. He quickly thought about the 2 choices given by the system, and then decided choose 2. Choosing one seems meaningless to him. Being able to withstand temperatures as low as -100°C seems impressive, but he knew, for the Ice Age after the sun has completely extinguished, it's useless. Based on the information we just received. As the Ice Age approaches, the surface temperature will drop to an unimaginable level. -100°, it's just the beginning. The most important thing is, what's the point of living alone on the entire blue star? People are social creatures. Is there only oneself in the whole world? Just thinking about that feeling of loneliness makes Qingmo feel chilly. If he were the only human left in the world, he will go crazy sooner or later. Choose two. Qingmo made a decisive choice. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for making the choice. Now start distributing selection rewards. Just as Qingmo made a choice, he suddenly felt a shock all over his body. A huge amount of information flooded into his mind like a tide, containing countless technological information. At the same time, Qingmo felt a very magical sensation in his brain area. It seems that the brain is undergoing some wonderful change. This wonderful change makes Qingmo feel very comfortable, feeling comfortable and warm all over. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for successfully receiving the selection reward. Congratulations to the host for successfully integrating the divine level scientist template, which has led to secondary development of the brain. The level of brain in development has reached 19%, surpassing Einstein, making it easy to understand and comprehend various scientific knowledge. The divine level scientist template comes with unlimited deduction ability in the brain, and its computing power is 10,000 times that of the current Kyushu National 9 chapters quantum computer. It can be used as a powerful assistant for the host to develop various high-tech technologies. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a large amount of groundbreaking engineering technology to resist the hazards of glaciers in the century. The technical data will be stored in the host's mind, and the corresponding technical data will be backed up in the hard drive. The hard drive will be stored in the system storage space, and the host can access it at any time. All technologies are super large projects, such as the Snow Country Train, the Ice and Snow Giant City, and the Intercity Sky Curtain, which require national-level efforts to complete the construction. Qingmo slowly opened his eyes. The eyes sparkled with a profound wisdom like a star. In a short moment of effort, the whole person's temperament underwent a tremendous change. Qingmo's gaze fell on the scene ahead. He suddenly realized. The colors I see now. It's a bit different from what I saw before. He saw colors that he couldn't see before his brain developed. And he also found that he could hear some low-frequency sounds that he had not heard before. The whole world had undergone subtle changes in his eyes compared to before. Is this the magical effect of brain development? Qingmo felt like his brain was unprecedentedly clear and agile. He found that he only needed a little memory. You can recall something that you have already completely forgotten. And the picture is very clear. As if returning to the original scene, experiencing it again with an immersive experience. Countless scientific and technological information has also emerged in my mind. Fortunately, I chose 2, this reward is too strong. Qingmo's eyes flickered with brilliance, and he gritted his teeth slightly. Now, I suddenly have confidence that I will lead Kyushu to survive in the Ice Age. However, it's not that easy to make the whole country listen to me. I need to come up with something that can make the country value and persuade the country. What should we do? Qingmo pondered deeply, and then suddenly, his eyes lit up slightly at this moment. He has a bold idea. Disaster is about to come, and we must race against time, things should not be delayed. Without any hesitation, he immediately returned to the real world through the double door. February 23, 2022. In Residential Room 701, Unit 3, Ningxue Garden, Linhai City, Kyushu. The light flickered slightly. Qingmo's figure appeared in the room. Plan to start. Open the shutter. Now, go find someone in Kyushu who can decide everything big. Qingmo appeared in the room, his deep eyes flickering with light, and he murmured softly, in about a week, several major cities near the sea in Kyushu will be hit by a tsunami. We must solve this problem as soon as possible to reduce casualties and losses. This is my first big gift package to Kyushu, and it is also an opportunity for me to make all Kyushu people completely believe in me and cooperate with me. Time is running out. Qingmo's gaze instantly became sharp and solemn. He waved his hand slightly, causing the void in front of him to twist slightly, and then a light door slowly opened. Across the Guangmen, a group of senior officials from Kyushu Kingdom are holding a meeting. Looking at the suddenly opened light door, looking at Qingmo who appeared at the other end of the light door. The elders in the attic council were suddenly dumbfounded and stared at him with wide eyes. "Young man, who are you?" The old man in the attic quickly regained his senses from shock and looked at Qingmo with a serious expression. "Hello, let me introduce myself. I am Kyushu National. Qingmo." Qingmo glanced at the shocked attic elders. The deep eyes of Gu Jing Wubwa shimmered with light, as brilliant as the stars. Then, he spoke slowly and said, "I want to turn over an ice age to the country." Chapter 3. High-spec pickups, opening the ice world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. High-standard pick.up, opening up the ice world. The next day, on February 24, 2022, at 8 a.m. Linhai City. It's just dawn, the busy and laborious urban life has opened a new chapter. No one knows that a terrifying disaster is about to befall Blue Star. Still living this little life normally. In the Ningxue Garden community where Qingmo is located, residents have started a new day of work and study. People can be seen everywhere in the entire community. Going to work, school, morning exercise. Suddenly, dudu-dudu, a series of rapid siren sounds came from outside the community. Next, one after another, military and police vehicles appeared outside the Ningxue Garden community. Crunching, a large number of military and police vehicles quickly stopped outside the community, and several military vehicles with special license plates entered the community. Wow! At the moment when the military and police vehicles were quite stable, a large number of military and police personnel quickly got off the vehicles. Raise the alert. Hurry up. Restrict personnel access. A large number of military and police personnel quickly surrounded the entire community and set up a cordon. And the entry and exit of residents within the community have been temporarily restricted. What is the situation? Why are there so many military and police officers? Arrest operation. Are there serious criminals hiding in the community? What criminal needs so many military and police personnel to arrest? A super drug dealer. The residents of Ningxue Garden became panicked as they watched the armed military and police officers surrounding the entire community and restricting personnel from entering and leaving, causing discussions and speculations to erupt. The panicked and nervous residents inquired about the situation and only received a response that asked them to cooperate. At this point, the military vehicle entering the community had already parked below the residential building where Qingmo was located. A middle-aged man with a majestic and solemn face, carrying a star on his shoulder, got off a military officer's car. "General Chen, that's it." The man got off the car and immediately someone walked up to him to report the situation. General Chen raised his head. "Look at the floor where Qingmo is located." There was a solemn light flickering in his eyes, and he was extremely shocked, and he thought of the instructions from his superiors. Qingmo concerns the life and death of Kyushu and even the entire world, and there must be no problem. The superior's words echoed in General Chen's heart, making him unable to calm down for a long time. He is somewhat unimaginable. Why did the superior say this? That Qingmo, why can we afford this kind of evaluation? However, although he was shocked in his heart, he couldn't understand. However, with military orders like mountains, he must now safely take Qingmo away. Go upstairs. After pondering for a moment, General Chen's face turned serious and he strode up the stairs. 7th floor. Qingmo stands in front of the window. Looking at the military and police personnel below, his face was calm as water. His eyes flickered with light, as if contemplating something, appearing very silent. Suddenly, Qingmo's corner of the eye twitched slightly, and a corner of his eye glanced towards the direction of the gate. Immediately, dong dong dong. A knocking sound came from outside the door. "The door is not locked, come in." Before anyone outside could speak, Qingmo spoke first. General Chen outside the door was momentarily stunned when he heard the young voice coming from inside. However, he quickly regained his senses and gently twisted the door handle. With a click, General Chen pushed open the door. Immediately, he saw a pair of deep and calm eyes, silently looking at him. "Mr. Qingmo." Upon seeing Qingmo, General Chen was immediately shocked in his heart. He couldn't believe that someone who was valued so much by his superiors would be so young, in their early 20s. Qingmo looked at General Chen and nodded slightly. "Hello Mr. Qingmo, I am Chen Dinghua from the military region." Seeing Qingmo nod, Chen Dinghua suddenly regained his senses and said, "I'm here to pick you up at the imperial capital. The special plane is ready. When do you plan to depart?" "Now." Qingmo walked towards General Yang with lightning speed. "Mr. Qingmo, this way, please." Chen Dinghua immediately made a request to Qingmo to tidy up. Soon, Chen Dinghua and others appeared downstairs. "Qingmo. What's going on? Are these military personnel here to find him? What's bothering Qingmo about?" "No. This doesn't seem like a crime. It seems like the military is picking him up. What exactly is this situation? Is Qingmo a hidden big shot?" When Qingmo was seen boarding the military vehicle accompanied by General Chen Dinghua, he roared away. The residents of Ningshui Garden were all stunned. Everyone is speculating about what's going on with Qingmo. Qingmo sat in the military car, looking at the surprised civilians outside the car. There was a strong flicker of worry in the eyes. If he was unable to complete his crazy plans before the disaster struck, those people outside are all going to be ruined. A military vehicle with a green light roared towards the military airport. Qingmo boarded the special plane accompanied by General Chen. The military plane took off and flew rapidly to the imperial capital. Imperial capital. The attic senior meeting room. At the moment when Qingmo's figure appeared, the elders in the conference room all stood up and walked towards him. "Comrade Qingmo, welcome to your arrival." The old man walked up to Qingmo and shook his hand, welcoming his arrival. The other elders also shook hands with him one after another. After a simple conversation, everyone went straight to the topic. "Comrade Qingmo, last night you didn't elaborate on the Ice Age world. Can you tell us more about it now? Country, we need to have a detailed understanding of the Ice Age world." The old man in the attic spoke solemnly to Qingmo, "Can you open up that world for us to see?" As soon as this sentence is spoken, all the attic elders had a strong curiosity flickering in their eyes. Qingmo glanced at the solemn old man in the attic and nodded slightly, "Sure." Speaking, Qingmo began to open the double door. He plans to let these top leaders of Kyushu clearly understand that in 3 months the terror of the Ice Age is terrifying. Chapter 4. As the Ice Age approaches, the sun is about to extinguish. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. As the Ice Age approaches, the sun is about to extinguish. Under the shocked gaze of the elders in the attic, Qingmo adjusted his angle and then waved his hand slightly. Immediately, everyone noticed. A faint fluorescence appeared on Qingmo's hand. The void in front of him began to twist slightly, like ripples of water. Immediately after, the void cracked and a void crack appeared in front of Qingmo. The light flickered slightly below. The door to the Ice Age world has opened. The moment when the door of time and space opens. A gust of howling wind suddenly sounded in the conference room. A piercing cold wind howled out from the gate of time and space, blowing on everyone in the conference hall. A group of elderly people in the attic couldn't help but shiver when the cold wind blew, instinctively shrinking their bodies and taking a step back. The light from the world where Qingmo and others are located shines through the gates of time and space into the Ice Age world. Everyone has seen a corner of the Ice Age world. Is this the Ice Age? The blue star in 50 years. The world of ice and snow. Looking around, it's all ice and snow. Those statues. Are people frozen to death? What a terrible world. De Gaulle and others saw a corner of the world during the glacial era. Suddenly, he let out a low cry of surprise. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock and terror. Here. Qingmo looked at the shocked expression of the old man in the attic and pointed across from the gate of time and space, saying, "Now this place is actually Yulong City within the territory of Kyushu. Have you seen those ice sculptures on the streets? Those. They are all the people of Kyushu Kingdom. They were all frozen into ice sculptures by the terrifying cold wave of the Ice Age." Qingmo's words came out. Suddenly, the old man in the attic and others changed their faces. Their immediate gaze was fixed on the scene beyond the gate of time and space. Looking at those statues that have been completely frozen into ice sculptures, looking at the eerie smiles on those ice sculptures. The old man in the attic and others felt a chill in their hearts. These are all the people of Kyushu Kingdom. People. The old man in the attic moved his gaze away from the difficult ice sculptures, with a deep sense of shock in his eyes and a tremor in his voice. They have all been frozen to death. That's right, they are all people of Kyushu Kingdom. Qingmo pursed his lips slightly, his voice hoarse and deep. Due to the unprecedented super-glacial century cold wave caused by the extinction of the sun, everyone in Kyushu has been frozen to death. No, the entire blue star has been frozen to death. 10 years after the advent of the Ice Age, human civilization completely perished. The world we see now. There are no living humans left. In 3 months' time, the age of glaciers will come to an end. In 1 year, the sun will completely extinguish, and humanity will completely lose its sunlight and fall into the era of eternal night. If we don't do something, then 10 years after losing the sun, the last person from Kyushu Kingdom and also the last human from Blue Star will die. At that time, Blue Star's human civilization will come to a tragic end, completely ending. Boom boom. Qingmo's words suddenly fell like thunder on the heads of the old man in the attic and others. Let these people who would not turn pale even if Mount Taishan collapsed in front of them, their faces will turn crazy, and their hearts will become even more turbulent. What Qingmo said is too scary. If someone else were to say these things in front of them, they would only consider them nonsense. But looking at the time and space gate opened by Qingmo, and the terrifying scene of eternal night across from the time and space gate, I have to value and believe what Qingmo said. This. De Gaulle stared intently at the scene across from the gate of time and space, gritting his teeth slightly. It cannot be the end of Kyushu Kingdom. I cannot let the people of Kyushu suffer such a great calamity. Kyushu Kingdom is destroyed. The end of human civilization. This it's something that nobody present wants to see. They have been fighting for this country and nation all their lives. To lead the country's rejuvenation and reach the peak again. Now, they have seen the dawn of success in their struggle goals right in front of them. But now Qingmo has shown them a corner of the world's future, but he has dealt them a hard blow, like a heavy hammer hitting their hearts hard, making them unable to accept it. Suddenly, the old man in the attic turned his head to look at Qingmo. Comrade Qingmo. The old man in the attic looked serious and asked Qingmo, "What do you think of this apocalyptic situation?" Brush, everyone's gaze instantly fell on Qingmo. There was a hint of anticipation in the depths of everyone's eyes. There are things like the Qingmo gate of time and space. Can he also have a way to break through the situation? Have Qingmo nodded and said, based on the city, build an ice and snow shelter city. Build a snow country train to maintain a transportation hub, used to connect the whole country and allocate resources after the arrival of the Ice Age. Build a canopy to cover the entire Kyushu kingdom, isolate the cold current, and buy more time for Kyushu kingdom. Make every effort to develop controllable nuclear fusion, ignite the fire of Kyushu's sun, and create a sun that belongs to Kyushu. Qingmo slowly blurted out what he had already conceived in his mind. These plans are all crazy. But these crazy infrastructure plans. Kyushu kingdom must start building various facilities to defend against cold waves. It's now February 24, 2022. The terrifying century of glaciers has completely descended, only 99 days left. Chapter 5. The Ice Age Resistance Plan is officially launched and implemented. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The Ice Age Resistance Plan is officially launched and executed. On February 24, 2022, only 99 days away from the arrival of the glacier world, Qingmo deeply felt the urgency of time. So, all his plans must be prepared in the shortest possible time. Best of all, Kyushu can start building urban defense facilities to resist the Ice Age now. After listening carefully to everything Qingmo said, the old man in the mansion and others all fell into silence and shock. They all feel that the plan Qingmo mentioned it's really crazy. However, after detailed discussions with Qingmo, de Golao and others have finally decided to fully support all of Qingmo's plans. After all, now Qingmo is worthy of their trust. And they seem to have no other way to go besides trusting Qingmo. Comrade Qingmo. After discussing for a while, the elders of the attic looked solemn and said to Qingmo, the country has decided to establish a new department specifically responsible for the full authority of the Kyushu Glacier Century Self-Report Plan. And this department will be directly under the jurisdiction of the Elderly Care Center, and we plan to appoint you as the head of the new department. What do you think? Sure. Qingmo's eyes flashed with a gleam of light, and he nodded slightly. This is exactly what he needs. He needs immense authority now. The power to mobilize all the human and material resources he needs. After the decision was made, Qingmo continued to discuss the details with the attic elders on that day, at noon news. Kyushu National News Agency television station is broadcasting news as usual. Suddenly, the leader appeared after the TV host saw the camera. He found that the TV station leader used a teleprompter to remind him. The host looked at the content prompted by the leader's teleprompter, and a hint of shock flashed in his eyes. However, his face was very calm and he quickly reacted. He spoke solemnly into the camera and said, "Audience friends, we are urgently broadcasting an important news. Now we are starting to transfer the live news footage." The audience watching the news live broadcast, I was immediately shocked by this situation. Noon news is the heaviest news broadcast in Kyushu. For many years, there has never been such a sudden emergency news broadcast like now. But whenever such a situation occurs, it all indicates that something big has happened. This situation immediately surprised all the people of Kyushu who were watching the live broadcast, guessing what really happened. And just as everyone was puzzled and surprised, the news broadcast began in the frame. Through the National Elderly Council, it is announced that in order to cope with the upcoming changes in the world situation, Kyushu Province will establish a national-level departmental institution, the National Authority, under the jurisdiction of the House of Elders. The National Power Bureau will have full authority to handle the extreme disaster that Kyushu is about to face. The first director of the National Power Bureau will be Comrade Qingmo. As the cabinet elders slowly announced the establishment of the Kyushu National Authority in front of millions of Kyushu viewers. And as soon as he heard this news, but in an instant, it stirred up waves and waves throughout Kyushu. Moment the major social media platforms in Kyushu have completely exploded. Countless people are discussing the news released by the elder. What exactly does the National Power Bureau do? What kind of person is this Qingmo? I've never heard of him before. How did he become the head of a national department in one fell swoop? Extreme disaster. What exactly is the situation that the cabinet elders are talking about? I'm confused. What is the country doing? Is there something big happening? The entire Kyushu kingdom is boiling. Countless people were shocked by the sudden establishment of the National Power Bureau. It is also unbelievable that Qingmo, who they have never heard of before, suddenly became a national-level figure. Countless people are calling on the country to believe and talk about the situation of this national prestige. However, at this time, the officials of Kyushu did not say much. Because various departments and institutions are making every effort to prepare for the National Power Bureau matter. The headquarters of the National Power Bureau was established in the capital city. With the full support of the country. The establishment speed of the National Power Bureau is very fast. The next day. On March 25, 2022, which is only 98 days away from the arrival of the Ice Age. The National Power Bureau has been completely established. Inside the headquarters building of the National Power Bureau. Qingmo sat in the office of the National Power Bureau. This matter, Qingmo is holding a list in his hand, and he is browsing through the characters on the list one by one. Li Qingnian, 46 years old, is an academician of the Kyushu National Academy of Sciences and a world-renowned scholar of structural mechanics in architecture. Chen Wuheng, 38 years old, director of the Kyushu National High School Physics Research Institute, has led a team to overcome multiple world-class nuclear physics technical challenges. Yang Lu-Qing, 66 years old, director of the Kyushu National Aerospace Research Institute, is a world-renowned top expert in dynamic aviation dynamics. Wang Yan, 43 years old. Qingmo scanned the list one by one. Then he picked up his pen and circled the names of each person. 10 minutes later, Qingmo put down a thick stack of list directories. Director, this is only a partial list. More information is being collected and organized, and it should be delivered no later than this afternoon. A middle-aged man stood in front of Qingmo's office and immediately said to him after seeing him put down the list. Notify me to invite all the people I have circled to the city. The sharp light in Qingmo's eyes flickered and he said in a deep voice, speed up, we don't have much time. It is necessary to quickly gather elite talents from across the country, coordinate and allocate them, and make every effort to prepare for the upcoming terrorist disaster. Now, we only have 98 days to prepare for the arrival of the Ice Age. If we can't be prepared before the arrival of the Glacier world, then Kyushu Kingdom will enter the abyss of destruction. Listening to Qingmo's words, the staff's expression suddenly changed dramatically, and a strong sense of urgency surged into their hearts. I'll do it now. He didn't hesitate, and the science department nodded and turned around to leave. Soon, the military began to take action. A large number of military personnel rushed to various parts of the country with lists and orders. The grand plan of Qingmo to resist the Ice Age has officially begun. The whole world is about to fall into a state of shock and panic due to Kyushu's actions. Directly presenting 5 chapters. Kneeling down and begging for everyone's support in flower evaluation tickets. Please everyone, the new book relies on this data support. Chapter 6. Mobilizing National Researchers, Kyushu National Movement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Mobilizing National Scientific Researchers, Kyushu National Movement. February 25, 2022. There are only 98 days left until the arrival of the Ice Age. Under the pressure of time, Qingmo, who had just become the director of the Kyushu National Power Bureau, immediately started working. Under the command of Qingmo, Various departments in Kyushu have cooperated with the National Security Bureau to carry out corresponding work. The highest research institute in Kyushu province. Academician Qingmo is leading a group of scientific researchers under him to conduct experiments in a tense and orderly manner in the laboratory. Suddenly, the door of the laboratory was pushed open. Hula, several personnel wearing military uniforms strode into the laboratory. The experts and scholars in the laboratory were startled by a few people who suddenly broke in. Suddenly, everyone in the laboratory's face changed drastically, and their eyes showed signs of astonishment. "What are you doing?" Academician Qingmo looked at the sudden appearance of several soldiers and his face suddenly changed. "We are conducting a top-secret experiment, how can you sneak into the laboratory? Get out of here." Academician Qingmo, "Hello. We are staff members of the National Power Bureau. Now, please come with me. Here is my work permit." A military officer startled Qingmo with a slap, then took out his identification and showed it to him. National Prestige Bureau. Qingmo was surprised and said, "Which? Was it the National Power Bureau that was just established yesterday? What is the National Power Bureau looking for me for?" The research experts present were also very shocked. "I can't understand why the members of the National Power Bureau suddenly found Academician Qingmo. State secrets." The young officer said seriously, "Academician Qingmo, please come with us. Time is urgent and cannot be delayed." State secrets. Academician Qingmo, a person of this rank, is very sensitive to certain things. So, upon hearing the officer say this, he immediately knew that the matter was not simple, and he also had no right to refuse. "Okay. Since it is a state secret, Qingmo naturally won't ask any more questions. Since the other party can appear in their top-secret laboratory, their identity and background are definitely not a problem. So," he said to the young officer, "let me explain the work first. Academician Qingmo, time is urgent. The director of the National Power Bureau has instructed that you must go to Kyoto immediately." The young officer shook his head and refused, serious and solemn. "Please come with us immediately." So urgent. Qingmo's heart suddenly shook, and he felt that the matter was not simple. The country needs itself very much now. Qingmo immediately put down all his work. Then, together with the people from the National Power Bureau, they left the laboratory and quickly headed to the imperial capital of Kyushu. Kyushu National Institute of Quantum Science and Technology. Leading figures in quantum technology in the world today, Academician Pan Weijian, a research scholar at Kyushu Guotai-do level. "I am discussing experimental topics with my students in the office." Suddenly, wow! A burst of hurried footsteps came from outside the office, with a lot of noise. Academician Pan frowned and looked out of the office window with some displeasure, wanting to see who had caused such a commotion in the research institute. However, at this glance, Academician Pan was immediately taken aback. Because he saw several people wearing military uniforms outside the door, he pushed open the office door with a loud bang and walked in. "You are?" Academician Pan was greatly surprised by this situation. "Hello Academician Pan, we are from the National Power Bureau. We are now ordered by our superiors to invite you to go to the headquarters of the Imperial Capital National Power Bureau." A military officer quickly took out his identification and showed it to Academician Pan, saying, "Academician Pan, please come with us immediately." "Guowei Bureau. Why do you want me to go to Guowei Bureau?" Academician Pan was surprised and said, "I still have a research task at the moment, which is very urgent." "Academician Pan, this is confidential. We were just ordered to come and invite you, and we are not sure about other matters." Someone answered. "I understand." Upon hearing what the visitor said, Academician Pan's face immediately became serious. He has participated in many confidential scientific research tasks. So, he roughly knew that this was a confidential mission, so he didn't ask much. Accompanied by soldiers from the National Power Bureau, he embarked on the journey to Kyoto. Academician Li Qingyan and Academician Pan are just a microcosm. Nowadays, this scene is happening all over Kyushu. Various top scientific research experts and top technical personnel in Kyushu country, almost all at the same time, they were approached by the National Power Bureau and taken away. The vast majority of people did not hesitate in the face of the reputation of the national authority and the orders of the country. Almost everyone chooses to obey orders. Let go of everything at hand. Then take a special plane or car to the capital city. Only a very small number of people refused to follow the allocation. And then they were forcibly taken away. In order to complete the task as soon as possible. The actions of top scientific research institutions and a large number of experts, scholars, and technical personnel from all over the country being taken away by the National Security Bureau have not been concealed by the Kyushu government. Therefore, soon, this news spread throughout the entire Kyushu region, setting off a huge wave. On the scarf. There has been a topic about a large number of research scholars and experts being taken away. A hot post titled, "What Big Deal is Going On When the Country Takes Away a Large Number of Scientific Researchers," quickly rose to the second place on the hot search. The first and second places on the hot search are, "Who is Qingmo?" and "Why did we establish the National Power Bureau?" Under the hot post. Countless people in Kyushu are discussing it hotly. What exactly does the country want to do? Suddenly taking away top scientific researchers from all over the country at the same time, what big deal is going on? Is it related to what the country mentioned before? The behavior of the country makes me feel a bit flustered. I always feel like something big is about to happen. Countless viewers are discussing it on the internet. Discuss the reasons for Kyushu Kingdom's actions. Guess if something big has happened. Even other countries have begun to pay attention to Kyushu's abnormal actions. Chapter 6 is here. The new book sets sail, kneeling down for everyone's support with flower evaluation tickets. Please everyone, the new book relies on this data support. Chapter 7. We will work together to resist the Ice Age. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. We will work together to resist the Ice Age. The major move of Kyushu Kingdom, let the nerves of the whole world be affected. Across the ocean, a free country. In the central conference room of the Free Nation, a large number of senior members of the Free Nation are discussing matters related to Kyushu. Everyone, the behavior of Kyushu Kingdom is very illogical. The leader of the Free Nation looked solemn and said to the attending senior members of the Free Nation, "We must figure out what they really want to do, their true intention to establish the national authority, and why they let that once unknown young man Qingmo hold such a high position. Mr. Commander is right. We must figure out what Kyushu Kingdom wants to do and whether it will threaten our free country. Our intelligence agency must take immediate action. Be sure to investigate Qingmo's details thoroughly. I suspect this person has a big secret." A group of senior legislators from free countries were discussing the affairs of Kyushu province. Final decision. Increase attention to Kyushu province. Activate intelligence agencies to investigate all intelligence about Qingmo and the National Power Bureau through undercover agents. A free country, just a microcosm. Blue Star's major countries were alarmed by Kyushu's actions. Great Bear Kingdom, Three Kingdoms, Samurai Kingdom, English Kingdom, France, the world's major powers have all taken action. At this moment, Kyushu Kingdom has completely attracted the attention of the whole world. People from various countries are investigating intelligence about Qingmo through various means. However, at this time, Kyushu Kingdom paid no attention to the actions of other countries. Because, Kyushu Kingdom doesn't have time to talk so much nonsense to them now. And at this moment, Emperor Capital, the headquarters building of the National Power Bureau, Qingmo has arrived. Qingmo, male, 21 years old. My ancestors have been from Kyushu for 3 generations, with their roots and seedlings red. From a military family background, my grandfather was a former hero in the anti-Japanese war. My father is an army soldier who once again sacrificed heroically for the protection of national interests in his mission. My mother was a military doctor who sacrificed herself in a peacekeeping operation. It can be said that, Qingmo's family, full of loyalty and martyrs. Therefore, it is precisely because of this that Kyushu Kingdom trusts and values Qingmo so much. But these are all things that other countries are not aware of. But now, within the headquarters, there is a huge conference room that can accommodate tens of thousands of people. One by one, top elite talents from all over the country from Kyushu were brought to the conference room. The first step is almost done. In the office, Qingmo watched through surveillance footage as the bustling Kyushu national science and technology scholars and experts gathered in the conference hall, their eyes sparkling with brilliance. With the presence of top research scholars and experts, he can start the next step of the plan. It's time. Qingmo slowly got up and walked out of the office towards the conference hall. It's time to let these experts know why they're here. It's time to mobilize the power of the entire Kyushu kingdom and make comprehensive preparations for the upcoming disaster. In the conference hall of the National Power Bureau. At this time, scientific researchers from all over Kyushu gathered together. These research scholars, as top research experts and scholars in Kyushu, are almost all familiar with each other. So, when they discovered that top scientists in various fields almost all appeared in the National Security Bureau, they were very shocked and unbelievable. Academician Pan, have you also come? Academician Lee, what exactly is this situation? The National Power Bureau has invited us all over, what are we doing? Is it difficult for a country to have any super technology that requires experts and scholars from various fields to work together to study? The experts and scholars in the conference hall were whispering and whispering, all trying to figure out why they were here. But soon everyone discovered. Everyone doesn't know why they were suddenly invited here. Experts and scholars, please be quiet. Just as researchers were communicating with each other, a sound suddenly came from the speakers in the conference hall. I know everyone is puzzled and curious about why the country suddenly invited you over. Don't be impatient, everyone. Comrade Qingmo, the director of the National Power Bureau, is coming soon. He will tell everyone why you are here. Moment all the researchers have quieted down. One by one, they turned their heads and looked towards the direction of the door. There was a strong curiosity in everyone's eyes. Who exactly is Qingmo, the director of the National Power Bureau? Under the gaze of a large group of scientific researchers, Qingmo, with a calm expression, slowly appeared at the entrance of the conference hall and then walked up to the podium. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself first. I am Qingmo, director of the National Power Bureau. It's a pleasure to meet all the pillars of Kyushu's scientific research field and the pillars of the country. Qingmo stood in front of the speech box, glanced at the experts and scholars in the venue, and introduced himself. Academician Li Qingyan and others below heard Qingmo's introduction. Looking at Qingmo's youthful image, there was a strong look of shock in both eyes. This young man is the mysterious director of the National Power Bureau. So young. Time is tight, I won't talk anymore. Let's get to the point. Qingmo saw everyone's shocked expression and loudly said, the reason why I invited everyone is to discuss the development of a different world with experts in the scientific research field. Kyushu now has a gateway to time and space that can travel to the blue star 50 years later. 50 years later, the blue star, humans have completely become extinct. The reason for human extinction is the terrifying extinction of the sun, which led to the arrival of the Ice Age. What we need to do now is to study the Ice Age world 50 years later and find ways to help Kyushu resist the Ice Age that will descend 98 days later. Boom boom. As soon as Qingmo's words were spoken, the scientists present suddenly felt the thunder hitting their heads, making them completely dumbfounded. The gate of time and space. Human extinction. 98 days later. The century of glaciers will descend. This Nima, what are all these things? Chapter 7. Today in Chapter 7, we will start working hard to improve and beg for everyone's support in flower evaluation votes. Please everyone, the new book relies on this data support. Chapter 8. Exploring the Glacier Century and Storing for Kyushu Kingdom. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Explore the Ice Age and reserve resources for Kyushu. In 2022, on February 24th, there are still 98 days until the arrival of the Ice Age. Within the Guowei Bureau, Qingmo at the speech box, looking at the shocked expressions of the top scientific researchers from Kyushu below, appearing very calm. He knew how much impact these words had on the scientific researchers present. Qingmo has always believed that facts speak louder than words. Instead of spending too much time explaining to them slowly, it's better to directly present the facts in front of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to me here. Qingmo exclaimed loudly, now let me show you the real gate of time and space. Understand what the blue star will look like 50 years later. Speaking, Qingmo raised his hands slightly, a faint fluorescence emanated from his hands. Then, buzz. With a wave of his hand, he opened the door to time and space in front of everyone. Watching Qingmo open the door of time and space, academician Li Qingyan and other scientists suddenly widened their eyes, each with a strong expression of shock. This. Is there really a gateway to time and space? The door of time and space leading to the blue star in 50 years' time has been opened like this. Academician Li Qingyan and others exclaimed loudly. Everyone was completely shocked by Qingmo's move. After the door of time and space suddenly opened 50 years later, the cold wind of the Ice Age world blew out. A piercing cold wind blowed on scientists who were relatively close to the gate of time and space. It's so cold. The scientist who was blown down suddenly trembled and exclaimed in surprise. Everyone, please take a look. Qingmo didn't care about the shock of everyone and just bloomed into an icy world. Brush and brush. Everyone's gaze turned to the scene behind the door of time and space. At this moment, the light from the world where Qingmo and others were located had already shone into the world of glaciers. Academician Li Qingyan and others can clearly see a corner of the glacier world. When they carefully examined the scenery inside the glacier world, their scalp immediately tingled. Only within the world of glaciers. A scene of destruction and stillness. A series of human-shaped ice sculptures appeared in their eyes. The sun is rapidly expanding and aging. This planet will face countless natural disasters. The real end is coming. And now, in the world we are in 98 days, the Ice Age will also come. Qingmo's voice was deep, introducing to all scientific researchers the situation of the Ice Age world after the gate of time and space. Listen to what Qingmo said. Academician Li Qingyan and other research scholars. Everyone's faces showed a look of horror and horror. Shocked by what he said, my scalp tingled and my heart turned cold. Director Qingmo, will the Ice Age really come in 98 days? In a year? Will the sun also go out? How could this be possible? Isn't the sun good now? Will human civilization completely perish in the Ice Age? This is too scary. The scientific researchers present exclaimed in surprise, some unable to believe what Qingmo had said. Regarding this, Qingmo said seriously to them, everything I said is now being verified and researched by top domestic scientists. It won't be long before you get confirmed. Today, the reason why you, the top scholars from various fields in Kyushu, are here. I am planning to discuss with you how to utilize the resources of the Glacier century to prepare Kyushu Kingdom for resisting the arrival of the Glacier century. In Qingmo's eyes, a solemn light flickered and he said solemnly, if we cannot be prepared to resist the arrival of the Ice Age in 98 days. At that time, the scene opposite the Sky Gate will appear in our time and space. Boom boom. Qingmo's words were like thunderbolts, falling on the hearts of academician Li Qingnian and others. It has caused unimaginable impact and shock to them. Director Qingmo. Academician Li Qingnian quickly regained his senses and asked Qingmo, do you mean that we, as people, are going through the gate of time and space to the blue star in 50 years? That's right. Qingmo nodded. 50 years later, on the blue star, humanity ultimately failed to resist the Ice Age, and human civilization has completely come to an end. But Qingmo knows. There are many things in the world over there, so his next plan is useful. Various resources. Various Kyushu countries and even other countries are using technology to resist the Ice Age. It's all worth it, the current Kyushu country has digested and absorbed it. Qingmo plans to make use of everything that can be utilized. To build various super infrastructure facilities to resist the Ice Age for Kyushu Kingdom. Qingmo's words sparked discussions among the scientific research scholars and experts from Kyushu province present. Director Qingmo, as long as the country needs it, I am willing to go to the blue star in 50 years. At this moment, academician Li Qingnian suddenly stood up and loudly said to Qingmo, we must work together to deal with the upcoming terrorist disaster. The scientists present are all intelligent people. So, after listening to what Qingmo said, immediately understand what Kyushu and even the entire world are about to see. The terrifying disaster is really going to happen in 98 days. All Kyushu people must unite as one and make every effort to prepare for the disaster. Otherwise Kyushu Kingdom will be completely destroyed. 8 chapters are here. The author is working hard to update, and I beg for everyone's support in flower evaluation tickets. Please everyone, the new book relies on this data support. Chapter 9. Fighting for the country, the first batch enters the Ice Age. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Fighting for the country, the first batch enters the Ice Age. At this moment, after academician Li Qingnian stepped forward, other researchers also quickly stepped forward. I'm willing to. I am always at the mercy of the country. As a citizen of Kyushu, I am willing to serve the country and nation, and obey the country's commands. A scientific researcher who has come forward. They have expressed their attitude, will, and willingness to serve and contribute to the country and the nation. Qingmo at the speech box. Watching almost all scientific researchers stand up. Express the intention to give it all and work together to serve the country. A strange feeling suddenly surged in my heart, and my eyes became bright and firm. In times of crisis, there is always a group of people in this country who stand up steadfastly, bravely, and without hesitation. They shoulder the heavy burden, shoulder the fate of the country and people, persevere and forge ahead. As long as Kyushu people unite and prepare in advance, they will definitely be able to overcome the disaster. Qingmo took a deep breath and murmured in his heart. At this moment, he is full of confidence in this country, this nation. Okay. Qingmo loudly said to everyone, everyone start preparing immediately. Once ready, immediately enter the exploration of the Ice Age world. Start sending out cold exploration equipment. Wow. Outside the door, Qingmo has just finished speaking. Immediately, a large number of soldiers brought in a large amount of equipment from outside the conference room. All of them are people who have entered the Ice Age and need to use various equipment. Obviously Qingmo has already prepared. Li Qingnian and other research scholars were surprised to see Qingmo so well prepared. I feel even greater pressure again. Because they can see from the country's careful preparation that this matter concerns the life and death of the entire country. All the researchers selected by Qingmo who are preparing to enter the blue star of the Glacier century. Everyone has obtained their own equipment. Subsequently, under the guidance of the staff, a scientific researcher preparing to head to the Ice Age arrived at a huge playground. At this point, on the playground, a large number of elite soldiers have been gathered, selected from the entire army. All kinds of equipment and instruments have been prepared. General Yang Dingwa, this time we will enter the world of glaciers together with Qingmo. He was standing in front of a large number of elite soldiers at this moment, with a serious and solemn expression, and loudly speaking out a lecture. Everyone, listen to me. You are about to enter a dead world to explore. After entering the world of glaciers, everyone cheered me up and protected our scientists. Especially those responsible for protecting Director Qingmo, we must use your lives to protect him. Do you understand? The roar of General Yang Dingwa fell into the ears of every soldier. Understood. The soldiers burst into a determined and scorching light in each of their eyes, shouting loudly, "We pledge to protect the scientists and Director Qingmo to the death." At this point, Qingmo walked over. General Yang quickly welcomed him forward. "Director Qingmo, everything is ready and ready to depart at any time." General Yang said to Qingmo. "Very good." Qingmo nodded slightly and said, "I will immediately open the door of time and space." Speaking, Qingmo walked up to everyone. Subsequently, he lifted his hand and swiped the void in front of everyone. Under the shocked gaze of countless people, the void rippled in front of Qingmo, and the light flickered slightly. Immediately after, the door of time and space was slowly opened by Qingmo. It's amazing. How did the director open the door of time and space? We are about to enter the blue star in 50 years. Whether it was scientists or soldiers from Kyushu, they were all nervous at this moment and curious about how Qingmo opened the door to time and space. The gate of time and space is exclusive to Qingmo. Only Qingmo himself can control the opening and closing of the door of time and space. Ho-hot. As everyone was discussing, the door of time and space opened, and then a cold current surged out of it. Even now everyone. They are all wearing specially customized high-specification cold insulation equipment, which can withstand extremely cold temperatures. Being swept by the cold current, I still feel a chill. The door of time and space has opened. After opening the door of time and space, Qingmo turned his head and his gaze fell on everyone. He loudly said, "As long as we cross this door of time and space, all of us will enter a planet that has completely died. We will explore this world and prepare for our Kyushu nation to resist the upcoming terrifying ice age. Entering this world, there is a possibility of unpredictable danger, for which one pays the price of life. So, as we enter the ice age, we must be cautious, keep up with the big army, and never get lost. Follow me." Qingmo let out a loud roar, then turned around and entered the gate of time and space. "Let's go." General Yang was the first to follow Qingmo and stride into the gate of time and space. Subsequently, scientists and elite soldiers from Kyushu also followed closely and entered the Ice Age. On the first day, 9 chapters are presented. Start working hard to improve, kneel down and ask everyone for flower evaluation votes to support. Please everyone, the new book relies on this data support. Chapter 10. Exploring the ice world and extracting all possible. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Explore the ice world and extract all available resources. In 2022, on February 24, in response to the Ice Age disaster, Kyushu Province has started taking action. A scientific researcher from Kyushu Province, under the leadership of Qingmo, we have entered the world of glaciers 50 years later. Cold, dark, dead silent. It is the eternal melody of the blue star after the destruction of human civilization. And at this moment, a blue star that has been silent for decades. A glimmer of vitality reappeared. It is the scientific research and exploration team of Qingmo and Jojo Lake. It's so cold. Wearing such good equipment, I still feel like my bone marrow is freezing. Oxygen absorption. Quick oxygen absorption. This level of temperature can freeze us. This glacial century is also too terrifying. Just entering the world of the Ice Age, Li Qingyan scientists were shivering with the cold wind. Cold, a bone marrow cold. Experts and scholars such as Li Qingyan, even if they were already prepared. I still feel shocked by the terrifying low temperatures of the Ice Age world. This world has been destroyed. Academician Li Qingyan's face was full of shock. Looking up at the sky. Looking at the pitch-black night sky. A strong sense of fear suddenly rose in his heart. This feeling of no light gave him a strong sense of oppression. That's right. Qingmo approached academician Li Qingyan and said, 50 years ago, the sun rapidly expanded and aged. In just 1 year, it was completely extinguished. The world we are currently in, the sun is also rapidly aging. In a year, we will also completely lose the sun. After completely losing the sun, the Ice Age will come down completely. If we cannot build the infrastructure for Kyushu to withstand the arrival of the Ice Age before it arrives, at that time, all of us will perish. Boom boom. Qingmo's words fell into the ears of academician Li Qingyan and other scientific researchers, like thunderous explosions. They all had a shocking and terrifying expression on their faces, and a strong sense of fear surged in their hearts. I can clearly tell you. Looking at the scientists' shocked expressions, Qingmo said solemnly, the great disaster of the Ice Age will surely come to the world we are in 98 days. The sun will definitely age and go out in a year. If the sun goes out, the blue star will be completely plunged into darkness. The terrifying cold wave is bound to strike. The Earth's magnetic field will be destroyed. Plant photosynthesis will stop. Finally, blue star will enter the era of absolute zero temperature. Everything will be frozen. Qingmo raised his hand and pointed to the completely frozen street not far away. He pointed to the people who had been frozen into ice sculptures and said, and all of us will be frozen into ice sculptures. Hiss, academician Li Qingyan and others took a deep breath, their pupils filled with shock. Looking at those people who have been frozen into ice sculptures, I only feel a chill in my spine and a numbness in my scalp. The current scene is so terrifying that they can hardly imagine being frozen into ice sculptures. If you think what I'm saying is all fake. Qingmo's eyes became sharp and he shouted, so you can go verify it yourself now. Go find the answer yourself in this frozen world. All the answers are quietly frozen there waiting for you to reveal. Listening to his words, academician Li Qingyan and other scientists felt a chill in their hearts, feeling that Qingmo was right. Seeing their silent and solemn appearance, Qingmo didn't say anything and immediately gave orders to them. Immediately start testing and exploring everything around you. Collect all the information that can be collected. At the same time, it is also necessary to conduct comprehensive research on various geological, climatic and other scientific data from the glacial century period. Time is urgent, start taking action immediately. We must obtain useful scientific research data as quickly as possible. As soon as Qingmo's words were spoken, academician Li Qingyan and others immediately came to their senses. Understood. Start working. Academician Li Qingyan immediately gave orders to his 2 students. Then, together with the students, we began to explore and investigate everything around us. The other researchers immediately began to take action. They took out various scientific research instruments and tools, and began to test and explore everything around them. Detect air composition, analyze air composition. Detection started. The detection data is out. After testing, the oxygen content in the air of Glacier Century is very low, only half of the world we live in. The remaining gas content values are normal. Start observing the sun. Report. The celestial telescope has observed the sun. The sun no longer emits light and heat, it has completely become a dead star. Start measuring gravity data. Gravity is normal. After measurement and calculation, the inclination angle of the blue star has shifted by 0.5, and it is currently predicted to be caused by the extinction of the sun. Detect the magnetic field of the blue star. After testing, the blue star's magnetic field is abnormal. A large number of scientific researchers have begun to observe and investigate the world of glaciers through various research equipment. Then, they obtained research data that made everyone's blood boil. Is this still a familiar blue star to me? An expert in the mechanics of studying the magnetic field of blue stars looked at the data report in his hand, his eyes full of shock, and his face turned a bit pale. He feels like his worldview is about to collapse. This blue star is no longer the one he is familiar with. All the magnetic field data of blue stars have undergone earth-shattering changes. The disaster caused by this glacial century is just the tip of the iceberg. Qingmo approached the expert and said, "The harm caused by the ice age to blue star humans will exceed all your imagination. Now we are only 98 days away from the arrival of the ice age. We must seize every minute and second to be prepared to withstand disasters." Qingmo's words made the scientists feel solemn. Everyone fell silent for a moment. Urgent to carefully survey the surrounding environment. Obtain all scientific data that is useful for Kyushu State and thoroughly understand the situation in this world. The first one today is presented. Start working hard to improve, kneel down and ask everyone for flower evaluation votes to support. Please everyone, the new book relies on this data support.